Hi and welcome back. This is Xargot Hunter's YouTube channel, and today I'm doing a collab with Becky Tregear from Becky Tregear Art. She's another YouTuber here on YouTube, and I've been following her channel for a while and I quite enjoy her content. And actually for quite a while I have been thinking, I should ask Becky if she wanted to do a collab with me, because my thought was that if you like one channel you might enjoy the other channel as well, because we do sort of the same type of stuff. And it just stayed that way for a while until, oh my gosh, a couple of months ago I guess, I saw her do a art haul video, and she pulled out some oil pastels that I have too, and I was thinking, yeah, that could actually be the base of an interesting collab. And I actually got my stuff together and contacted her and said, hey, would you like to do a collab with me? And she had actually apparently had kind of the same thought. We had been watching each other's channels and we had talked a little bit on YouTube and Instagram. And so here it is. It took us a little while to get it in place. Becky is, she runs schedules and stuff for what she does on her channel. I don't. I kind of go with when I got time and I got something I need to get out of my system. So I don't run schedules because my private life comes before my YouTube channel. I do this for the fun of it. Anyway, this is some of the stuff I'm gonna use today. What we agreed on was oil pastels, and I have here an oil pastel fixative from Sennelier. I pulled out my linseed oil. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need it. I got a little container because I'm definitely gonna use some of this. This is some turpentine. It's not turpentine as such. It's a replacement for turpentine. It's a huge bottle, and I realized when I pulled this out that actually the shop I bought it from has broken the law, because all the text on here is German. I bought this in Denmark. I could have bought it in Germany because I live right at the border, but I actually bought this in Denmark, and according to EU laws, you are supposed to put an etiquette on foreign import stuff with all the relevant information. Amongst others, here the warning label has to be translated into the local language. Kind of didn't happen with this. Doesn't bother me. I read enough German to know that I shouldn't drink this, or pour it on the cat, or wash my hands in it. So, useless facts aside, I got some gesso, clear gesso. I got a number of brushes here. That is the brushes I use for oil stuff. I got a tear-off palette, and maybe I should fix my focus here. There. And then, Becky, I cheated. We agreed on A4 paper, and I was going through my stashes to find the right kind of paper. I came across this panel, and it's a canvas panel board, and that's why I put the gesso out. I'm gonna give it a layer of gesso before I start. And I actually never tried oil pastels on canvas, so, but it has approximately the measures of an A4 page, and I'm gonna use it this way. So the oil pastels in question is actually exactly this set, 48 Sennelier oil pastels. I've had mine for quite a few years, and so mine are used and broken up and abused. They are very, very soft, these pastels. It feels, if anybody have been like me, been a naughty kid, you would know that how it feels to draw on something with a lipstick, and this is how this feels. People have, when I've said that, people have asked, so how do you know that? And that's because I was a naughty kid who stole my mom's lipstick and painted on stuff with it. And I'm old, so I think actually that was one of the not very many times my mom actually whooped my behind. And I think I earned it. So I think this is all the originals in here. When I bought these, I also bought a number of open stock colors, and I might have accidentally switched one or two out with an open stock, but I think this is the original set. The numbers are on the edge of the box here. There's but I haven't gone through those, and I figured that if there was a couple of colors that were different, it wouldn't be a big deal. So we agreed on Sennelier Oil pastels, A4 paper. There's I swear there's a paper board in somewhere in that canvas board. It's just covered with canvas. And then we agreed to do a tiger. We both had different reference photos of tigers, so we are gonna do a tiger with oil pastels on an A4 size. That's my printer making itself ready. So I'll get my reference photo out and get it onto the panel. No, I won't. I will unpack the panel first because it is wrapped in plastic, and I'll cover it with gesso, and then we'll get to the reference photo. I love canvas panels because they are inexpensive, and all the stuff I do on canvas is kind of experimental because I am not good with neither oil paint. I'm not super good with acrylics either, and I've never tried to use oil pastels on canvas either, so no need for me to go and buy expensive canvas and then mess it up with my dubious skills. So let's prepare the canvas panel first with clear gesso. Put too much on there so some of it goes back in the bottle, and that's just to smooth it out a little more than it usually is. And just make sure that there's no nasty brush marks on there. Yeah, and quick clip to that I drew on the sketch. I quite honestly traced this. It's a reference photo from a zoo, a photo I took some years ago. I'm starting with the background. The original background was a zoo sitting with an iron gate behind him, so I just put some green and black in behind him and put him on a grey rock. It was quite interesting to use the panel here, and yeah, I'm dissolving it, the first layer here, with a little bit of the turpentine, and I used too much on the brush at the beginning, so it lifted up into the brush instead of just melting and staying where it was. But I got the hang of it as I was going, and it kind of turned out pretty much as I wanted it. Not too much trouble here. Yeah, I traced it on because I am not good with striped animals, and so I found it easier just to trace it. And I was thinking I could mess it up easily enough later on. So there you go. And I used a red wax paper to trace it with, which I live to regret, because that red color lifted up and mixed with oil pastels later on, so all the marking in his face became pink where they should have been white. That was kind of a problem. I left the green from the background in the brush, so it mixes in with the grey here in the foreground, which is fine. There's a lot of green in that brush, which is testament to the amount of pigment in these Sennelier pastels. And here I realized I didn't have the right kind of, or rather the right nuance of orangey brown for his fur. And I decided to try and give the background a layer more because I wasn't happy with it. And this time, no brush, just my fingers. That worked out actually better than the brush and the turpentine. There's no drying agent in oil pastels, so they never dry. The turpentine evaporated, but it left the oil pastel just still smeary and sticky. Yeah, I probably messed up the light fastness of the pastels using my fingers. But yeah, that's what I do, and I'm definitely not ever selling this tiger piece because, no. So, because I didn't have the right kind of color, I'm mixing different colors, and that brown ochre there is way too dark, and the yellow is way too yellow, so I'm mixing with some white to get the right hue. It turned out quite okay. I'm just kind of trying different things here. It's been a while since I've done oil pastels. I want to do this again, but then I will clamp my canvas board onto my my easel, but I can't use my easel and the camera at the same time because, yeah, I can't get the camera to film when the easel is on my table. So yeah, here's the base colors. Some white here and some dark there. I wish I had done a better job of this part, because after I put in the stripes I can't go back and fix too much of the shadings and stuff like that. Here I used a color shaper to do the head, just to see if it worked as poorly on canvas as it does on paper. On canvas it is actually okay. I'm trying to lift up some of the excess color there, and I have a piece of paper under my hand because otherwise I would smear the background again. I keep on adding white and it keeps on slipping back into the paper. And you really want the paper there because it really sticks to your fingers. It melts at body temperature, so it gets really messy if you don't have the paper on the pastel. Adding in some dark brown, dark ochre for more shadow. I know it looks like a mess, and it is a mess. I want to do this again because all the techniques I used kind of worked, but there was just too much detail for this medium. And here I started on the stripes, and I started with the ones in the back to see if it works. And I actually have a little bit of a problem because the white especially keeps on lifting and mixing in with the black, so my stripes turn black, gray. It's not very evident on the film. That was very visible when I was painting. So, but I found a solution for it, and I'll show you later. And I totally lost all the stripes. They got covered, so they're quite opaque, these pastels. You can see how pink he is on the chest, and that's from the wax lifting and mixing. should probably just have used charcoal to line it up with. So, and it's really difficult, even with a fine brush, it's difficult to get all those little tiny stripes and details in. And I kind of gave up on his hind legs, they're kind of indicated there. Hoping I can get more focus on the face. And at this point I had the reference photo up on my screen and tried to, if not replicate the stripes, then at least to get them to go in the right directions. I'll follow the shape of the tiger-ish. Really struggling there because it's a thick layer of oil pastel underneath there, and it keeps on lifting and blending in with the black. And down there is white, so you can see it goes pale, and I have to add to it and add to it. I cut a little piece of the black and placed it on my palette, and we're dissolving it with turpentine so I could paint with it. They took a big hit from this picture because the canvas, I should have given it more gesso, but it was quite rough still, so it really took a lot of the pastels when I got them on it. And here I start on the face, and at this point he looks like more like a red panda, to be honest. It will get better and then worse. See, the ear is just totally grey because I put a good layer of white on that first, and I can't cover it right with the black. So yeah, this was really challenging but also quite fun. So considering how much detail I have to squish into that face, I'm quite pleased with how it came out. I cut the process short because I could probably have kept on doing corrections and stuff for a lot longer, but there's also a limit to how much video people want to watch, so I finished it maybe a little sooner than I would have. So yeah. I'll find some music for the rest of this speed paint, and I hope you enjoy this. Thank you. So I have given this a few coats of the Fixative, and the Fixative is a mixture of vinyl and alcohol, and it smells quite offensive, to be honest, so use it outdoors and if you can, or keep the door open. For the level of details I tried to squish in here, I'm fairly okay with this. The Fixative made it kind of shiny. It's okay in real life, it's kind of annoying on the screen. Yeah, but for the level of details I squished in here, I think it's okay. I'm gonna try something because I am wondering if I could. I had problems with the black mixing up with the white in the paint, or that I put down first, the white that I put on first. I kept on mixing up into the black. So I'm curious to see if I can paint on top of the Fixatives, because that has fixated. I'm not ever gonna film during the day again. Just never. See, I sat down, it's been quiet for half an hour, and now my phone goes off. I've been trying to sit down several times. My husband showed up, my cat showed up. Everybody wants me in the daytime. So that goes on quite well on top of the things here. So that's nice to know, so I could actually probably use this as a to fixate what is done and then continue painting on top. I want this ear to be proper black too. I'm just dabbing it on so I don't lift too much. The Fixative is still a little taggy, so it's not totally dry. I'll let it dry for over an hour. I've given it 3 coats with half an hour in between. Well, it's useful to know. It says on the Fixative that it keeps it from collecting dust and from smearing, because oil pastels doesn't dry, and that makes them susceptible to become dust collectors. And of course, as they're not dry, then they tend to smear if you touch them. I'm quite sure I could destroy it if I touched it a lot, but it will help from just general smearing. So I want to say thank you to Becca for being a good sport. This was quite a challenge, but I got this philosophy that if you don't do something that is difficult ever so often, you deprive yourself of a chance to develop and to learn something more, something new. So yeah, it's a risk to take because you might fail, but it's impossible to learn something without failures. So yeah, A for with oil pastels. It was. And considering that I haven't done all the pastels for a while, and I've never done it on canvas, and I picked a subject with way too many details. I'm quite pleased with how this turned out. And, I haven't used these pastels for a couple of years, but now I've actually got fell a little bit in love with them again. So maybe I should use them some more. Oh, it really works well with that fixative in between. I should have put that down way sooner. This is super. So thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Come back for something more. I usually do reviews of art supplies, but I also sometimes do this. Just sit down and paint and draw. I do art challenges sometimes. Yeah. I fail at times, so if you want to watch fail videos, come by sometime. It's not everything I do that fails, but it's definitely also not everything that turns out good. But it's part of life. So also please check out Becca's channel. She's relatively new here on YouTube, and she definitely doesn't have the following she deserves yet. I'll leave a link to her channel and the video she makes in down below here. So yeah. This was fun. I can probably sit here and add details and corrections and stuff all day long. But this is as much as I care to film for now. And so take care. Bye bye.